It's 5 awesome Transformers, guys. I'm Darth Devious, and I'm your Tuesday. Hi guys, Double D here. You may have noticed there was no video from Neil this week. Neil had some technical difficulties uploading his video, so he passed on all the information to me for the topic and everything. Now you might want to write some of this down because what he proposed is getting to know a nerd. And yes, I have it written down here. And he split it up into 5 questions. So I'll go through the 5 questions and give my answers. So just pay attention to that. And as always, video responses would be cool. Comments are always welcome. First one, question number 1. What was your first nerdy love? For me, it's an easy one. I was born in 1973, so for me, it was Star Blazers when that first started airing in the late 70s. Used to try to rush home from school, get my mother to drive a little bit faster so I can get home and see it. Because I love that. I still do to this day. Right now, one of the things I would like to have in my collection is a nice representation of the space battleship Yamato. I don't know if I'm ever going to get one, but maybe one day. Who knows? Question number 2. What is your most prized possession? Well, for me, my most prized possession is right here. Masterpiece Starscream with the Coronation set. I'd wanted him for a long time with the Coronation set. It had to be with the Coronation set because it just wouldn't have looked right without it. So, that's my most prized possession. Put him off to the side. Question number 3. What is your favorite film franchise? This one is a little tough to answer. I like so many different franchises, from Lord of the Rings, Back to the Future. It really comes down to, for me, for 2 franchises. The Star Trek and the Star Wars franchises. But I think I'm going to have to go with Star Wars. There's just something about it that captured my imagination as a kid, and it just has always stayed. Darth Vader is one of my all-time favorite characters, despite what Lucas did to him in the prequel trilogy. I still like the guy. So, yeah, for that one, I'm going to have to go with Star Wars. Question number 4. What is your favorite video game franchise? I am not much of a gamer. Most of the games I play, mostly because I have children, is the Lego games, like the Lego Star Wars, Lego Batman, Lego Harry Potter, Pirates of the Caribbean, whatever. I like those a lot. They're fun. I can play them with my kids. I don't have to worry about things. If you have to go old school, I would probably say the Legend of Zelda series, even though I haven't played all the games. But A Link to the Past is probably one of my all-time favorite games. So, but I also, for recent games, I love Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, because I'm a huge Batman fan. On top of everything else, I am a huge Batman fan, though I don't have too much Batman stuff in my collection. So, but yeah, if I'm going to go with a franchise, it's going to have to be the Lego games as a whole. The last one, what are your top 5 interests? Well, basically, collecting Transformers is number 1. I don't really collect much else other than Transformers, because Transformers, they take up a lot of space. And I really don't have the room in my house for a lot of them. In fact, most of my Transformers are actually packed away in totes or sitting in closets. I just don't have the room to display them. So every time I get some new ones, I have to pack some of the older ones that have been sitting out away. Right now I'm trying to keep my classics out, but I'm going to have to start packing some of them away as the Prime figures come in, because I'm running out of room. Second thing, pretty much sci-fi in general, with focusing on mainly like Doctor Who, Babylon 5, Star Trek, shows like that, Stargate. I really like stuff like that. Uh, Babylon 5 is still my all-time favorite show. I thought that was very well done. And I thought J. Michael Straczynski is one hell of a writer. And he wrote about 95% of the episodes for that show. In the show, he came up with the entire show while sitting in the shower one day. So it's not too bad. Coming from the guy that gave us, episodes of He-Man and She-Ra back in the day and episodes of the real Ghostbusters. Then he goes on and does Babylon 5. I also said my other interest, Batman. I like DC Comics more than Marvel for some reason. It's hard to explain, but Batman in general is always been one of my favorite heroes. I don't call him a superhero; he doesn't have superpowers. But when it comes to comic book characters, Batman's at the top, with Green Lantern coming in second. So there's that. And as I mentioned in another video, I have an interest in ships. That started when I was 8, and it's just progressed over the last 30 years. And my last one is I like to write. And I do have a blog. It's on blogger.com, also under Darth Devious. I have some movie reviews, comparisons and TV shows. Like I started calling it Best of and Worst of. And the first thing I did was wrote about what I thought was the best Star Trek episode of all the franchise, and what I thought was the worst thing of Star Trek. All that. The first part was answered with the Deep Space Nine episode In the Pale Moonlight, which yes is named after the Joker's saying in the Tim Burton Batman movie, which I thought was really cool. But the episode itself is a real winner. So if you get a chance, check it out. The worst thing I thought that Star Trek ever did, Star Trek 5. If you want to have a funny read about Star Trek 5, find my blog, read about it. My blog has sort of shifted in recent months to more focusing on ship histories, and that's really starting to make it take off, oddly enough. I did one on Titanic's sister, the Olympic, and it just went nuts. In the last 3 months, my blog went from getting about 1 to 200 views a month to 1 to 2,000 views a month because of that. And it's been growing ever since. So I started it mainly because I'm really good at writing fiction. I used to have a fan fiction page on MySpace until MySpace shut it down. And I had a lot of followers on that. I was under the name Lord Starscream on that. And I called it Lord Starscream's Tales of Woe. And I would write, Transformers stories, Star Wars stories, things like that. And people loved it. So fiction comes easy for me. And I want to write, I have like 5 or 6 fiction novels in my head. And I want to start writing them down. My thing was I was never any good at writing nonfiction, so I started the blog to focus on nonfiction. So those are my interests. I know I rambled on there at the end. So these are the 5 questions that Neil gave me, passing them on to everyone here. And Neil sends his best to everyone since he was having his little technical issues. He tried to upload his video and it just refused. So that's all I've got this week. I'll see you all next week.